Hello Comp2 students. I wanted to give you guys a lesson using a sample paper from a student. And I'm going to point out a couple of other things, but this is your biggest grade of the semester. So it's very important that, one, that you're watching this lesson. So I would get a piece of paper to make some notes, and then I would actually print this sample paper. It's on our page, and take notes on it. And so you want to format your paper like this. If you go to our class, let me pull that up here. Let me get that up here. Where's my camera here? Okay, so if you come down, we are in the resources for week 10, and you click on additional resources, you're going to see the format for the research paper right here. So let's click on that. And here is how you are going to organize this. So you're going to have your intro. So I'm going to point all of these things out on the sample paper. You're going to have your intro, and the very last sentence of your intro is your thesis that has your A, your B, and your C. And so I'm not going to really give a lesson on this right here because I'm going to save it for the paper. This video is going to be really long. But reference this as well. And so this is the format that yours has to follow. Here's an example. So let me pull that back up and let's go over it. So we have our intro, okay? Every paragraph that you have, I would aim to have 2 sources because you have to have those sources scattered throughout your paper. And so you're going to rely on last name and page numbers or titles and page numbers. So let's look at this. We have our introduction that's slowly introducing our topic. We have 2 sources. Right here, we have a last name and a page number. And then right here, we have the title. The title always has quotation marks. If it's an article, if it's a longer document, such as a book, then you would use italics. If it's a long title, you put ... as you see here. So a painful pill, ... that tells me that's not the full title, but that it's a long title in quotation marks. Notice where the parentheses are. The period is behind it here. So you have the title of the article, and then you have the page number. The very last sentence of your thesis is of your intro is your thesis, and that contains your A and your B and your C. So what we have here is the high price for prescription drugs can be resolved through a combination of things, such as A, price transparency, B, creating easier avenue for generic medications, and we have a C, government aid to pharmaceutical companies. So we have an A and a B and a C. So what that's telling me is price transparency is going to be the first body paragraph. So this right here is all about the A, the price transparency. Okay, so within these paragraphs, you need those sources. You only want 2 to 3 lines of direct quotes per page. I'm going to say that again. You only want direct quotes, quotation marks, of 2 to 3 lines per page of direct quotes. You have to make sure you're relying on paraphrasing and on summarizing. So if we look at the sources here, we have a source, we have according to, and that's a first name and a last name. If you use the name in the sentence, you don't use it in the in-text citation. If you use the other. If you use the title in the sentence, you don't use it here. So you'll notice these interchangeably, but it's always author, title, author, title. So we have according to, author, and then she has this summarized right here. The simple solution, ... that is a title, quotation marks, page number 1, period. Then we come down here. We have 1 direct quote. That's it throughout this entire paragraph. It's 2.5 lines throughout the whole page. That's sufficient. We have our quote, last name, page number. This right here is going to be our B. The transparency. If you go back up to the thesis, it is about being transparent. You'll see that in the topic sentence. And you're going to see sources. Title, the challenge of high drug prices, ... in quotation marks, page number. Come down here. We have another direct quote on this right here. On this page, we only have a 2.5 line quote. That works. Garnis, last name, page number. So then we come down here, we have our C. Our C in our thesis said government regulations. You'll see that in the topic sentence, government regulations. And then we have our sources. Shouldn't the U.S. government, ... quotation marks, And then on this one here, she only had one source on this one. I advised her to use two. So, and I like to use student examples to show that you don't have to have it perfect to have a very strong research paper. But let's look at the source again. So we have our source, should in the U.S. government title, in quotation marks, and we have the page number. So this is our C. So now underneath that, you're going to have your counter argument. So if you go back up to here, so we have our A paragraph, B, and our C. And then we're going to have our counter argument and our rebuttal. So so that's going to leave your intro, body A, body B, body C, counter argument, rebuttal, conclusion. That's 7 paragraphs that your essay must have. So if you go back to the student example here, after the C, we're going to have that paragraph of the rebuttal, sources in it, last name, page number. Last name, page number. Then we're going to have the counter argument. We have our source here, title, page number. Then we come down here and we have a conclusion. So you will have those 7 paragraphs, and then you're going to have your works cited page. Works cited page. It's not bigger. It's not double. I mean, it's double spaced. You don't have extra spaces in between paragraphs. It's in alphabetical order, and so it's last name, title. We have the access date, and so this is what your works cited page should look like. So make sure that you are following that, and you have those 7 paragraphs. Your goal is going to be to have 2 sources per paragraph. No more than 2 to 3 lines of direct quotes. Do you have to have that? Absolutely not. You can rely mostly, you want all 3. If you look at the rubric, you're graded on paraphrasing, quoting, and summarizing. And so if you want to make sure that you balance those out, and that's why the rule of 2 to 3 lines of direct quotes, just so your other sources, you make sure to have that balance of quoting, summarizing, and paraphrasing. So like I said, I'm going to post this on the web page for you to use, for you to print, and we'll go from there. So if you have questions, let me know.